and welcome to another episode of Hornets Daily, presented by Fan Arc, your one-stop shop for all things Charlotte Hornets. I'm Vance Ballard, but as we know, friends like you call me VB. Thanks again for joining today, and be sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like and a comment on the video. As we've mentioned several times in the recent days, we will soon be diving deep into the chat, bringing in some of you guys' thoughts, bringing that into the mix, open up the discussion a little bit. That is something I'm very excited about, looking forward to beginning that process later on this week or early next week in those videos, as Summer League will be underway by that point. As you can see, we're finishing up a last little stretch of road games, if you will, here on Hornets Daily. I am finishing up the family vacation. We're wrapping things up here. As you can tell, I'm out in the building for today's video, but we will return to the comforts of our own home, back to the office for the remainder of the videos this week. I know we mentioned Summer League. Speaking of Summer League, we got some news during today's show coming out of Las Vegas, as well as another player preview on the Summer League roster. More rumor mill talks are flying around again. It is that time of summer. The web is hot with rumors and fixes and who's going here, who's going there, what's everyone think. We'll dive a little deeper into those and talk about some more of the rumors flying around. And a very early win total prediction has dropped for the Charlotte Hornets, so we'll talk about what that means. What does Las Vegas and the experts think the regular season has in store for the Hornets? Grant Williams is back in the gym. We saw him doing a workout, taking some jump shots. Good to see him back and trying to get back healthy and get back right. We'll talk about what that may mean, what his future looks like in Charlotte, and the impact he may have on the Hornets in the regular season. And Damon Baugh will finish up today's episode. We'll talk about him and his prospect on the Summer League roster, what his summer could mean in terms of his position on the Charlotte Hornets roster come regular season as well. Folks, it's July the 8th, and we are right in the middle of the longest stretch of the summer. But as the Hornets prepare for a trip out to the desert, we too will turn up the heat with a packed show today. Well, you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. No need to beat around the bush. Let's get right into it. On Monday afternoon, it was officially announced as well as displayed. We saw pictures, videos of the team getting off the plane, landing. The Charlotte Hornets Summer League team has officially landed in Las Vegas to prepare for Summer League action that begins at the end of this week. As we mentioned in our last show during our Summer League schedule preview, the Hornets open play in Vegas on Friday the 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time against the Utah Jazz Summer League team. Now that the team is out in Vegas, along with Summer League head coach Chris Gent, who is making his second trip out west with the Summer League roster to man the sidelines once again, they will have 3 days to make their final preparations before taking the court. It's funny to say out loud that there's a lot of expectations for a Summer League showing, but that is exactly how it feels going into this year, for lack of a better term. After a 7-1 showing in last year's Summer League, this year feels even more important because of the 4 new draftees, in addition to multiple guys on the Summer League roster who have played NBA, G League, or Summer League minutes for the Charlotte organization. A lot of those guys are expected to take the next step. It'll be interesting to see if the rookies, how they're coming along in their very early NBA development and their first game action here in a Hornets uniform. Now, obviously, we don't want to get too crazy. The win-loss record of a Summer League does not matter. But as we know, with the new regime, winning is a major priority. They speak about it all of the time. They try and emphasize it and hammer home the point. Winning is most important here in Charlotte. So having a successful trip out to the desert could go a long ways towards nudging the team in the right direction come regular season time. Get off on the right foot in the summer, have the rookies be motivated, know that they can actually get wins, and inspire them to continue to do so as the regular season begins. Now, while we're mentioning the regular season, let's shift gears to some way too early regular season talk. I said in yesterday's episode and early again in the intro of this episode that this time of year was made for rumor mills and big trade what ifs and who's going to fix our team and how are we going to do it and so on and so forth. And more of that was hit the web on Monday. In a new article by Zach Roberts, he talks about NBA insider Danny Chow's prediction for what the Hornets could do in the coming days to address their final few needs on the roster. Of course, we've all heard, and I've even talked about the possibility of any of the new additions being available to be moved again before actually playing with the Hornets in an effort to solidify the big man position, because we know I've mentioned ad nauseum how important solidifying that spot is going to be for the future and this season as well. We talked yesterday about the potential of a Colin Sexton deal with the Bucks, the use of another player and some picks to acquire Nick Claxton from the Nets, and so on and so forth, other rumors that were flying around. But this article from Roberts has Chow predicting something that we have yet to discuss. He predicts that the Hornets will move Sexton, Spencer Dinwiddie, or both to help fill their needs and build the roster for the future. And I know what you're thinking, Vance. That's no different than what you said yesterday. Well, kind of. But one wrinkle that makes this prediction a little more interesting, in my opinion, is the suggestion that neither of these moves would come in the offseason. But instead, Chow thinks the Hornets should wait it out, let both guys get some playing time in the Buzz City, and wait until the trade deadline approaches, which would allow for the Hornets to get some use out of these new guys. The players could increase their value through play or maybe even just simply timing by waiting and another team has a need they need to fill through injury or some other reasoning. But most interestingly to me, this would mean that the Hornets are laser focused on the 26th draft. A midseason trade of either Dinwiddie or Sexton would mean the record isn't quite necessarily where Jeff Peterson and Charles Lee hope it will be at this point, and the decision has been made to use the picks and assets they've already acquired to bring in more picks or assets and continue to build the roster through the draft in next year's offseason. Now, I find this idea so interesting because it goes against pretty much everything we've heard coming out of the front office, the coaching staff, the players, and really the entire Charlotte Hornets camp this whole offseason. Nothing they've said or done feels like a team that wants to step back and punt on another season. This entire Eastern Conference is aware of the opportunity in front of them, and the Hornets are no different coming into this season. It's a wide open East, and to think that the Hornets would be willing to just fold on that and prepare next year, lock in for the 2026 draft, that just doesn't feel right to me. I don't know that that's how the front office or the coaching staff is molded here in Charlotte, or at least not how they have presented themselves early in this offseason. Now, another way too early regular season subject that will be picking up steam throughout the day is the NBA regular season win total. That has been released. The predictions are out according to Vegas and the experts out there. Now go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off here. The Hornets find themselves predicted with the fourth lowest win total in the league at 25.5. As a matter of fact, that's 2 wins less than the Hornets were predicted at this time last year, as they opened with a total of 27.5 wins for the last season. Now, Vegas doesn't seem to think that the 25.5 will happen, as they have this odds set at plus 100 on the over for the 25.5, which, if you ask me, I think that's not bad money. I think there's a chance to make some profit there. Call me biased if you want, but I love this number. It feels to me like a case of the Hornets getting predicted, getting assumed, getting pinpointed as being, well, the Hornets again, and I don't think that's the case. I think too much is happening here in the offseason, and I love this team beginning what will be a long-term turnaround for the franchise. And again, to me, that feels like a very safe bet that they win 26 games this season. Mentioned that total's 2 games lower than last year's total, and I think that feels a little bit disrespectful if you ask me. Anyone who's been following along here with us on Hornets Daily or just paying attention to the Charlotte Hornets as a whole knows what this team has done in the offseason and knows that they have made themselves better than they were last year already. Now, it's going to be, of course, a matter of results on the court, but in terms of off the court and off-season work and things that are being done the right way, the Hornets have absolutely taken a step forward in that regard. So again, I think 26 wins is a very safe bet if you are a betting man. Now we'll shift gears once again, and it is rare to say this so often when talking about the Charlotte Hornets, but we've said it quite a few times throughout this offseason, and we'll say it again here today. More good news is coming out of Charlotte on Monday. As we saw on video, Grant Williams is back in the gym. He's taking some jump shots. He's doing a workout. He completed a workout down in Charlotte. Now, he wasn't going full contact. There was no 5-on-5, 3-on-3, anything like that. No full speed activities for Williams, but it is still very nice nonetheless to see him in the gym, putting up shots and just moving around on a basketball court. The 6'6 forward will be very heavily leaned on this year to help mainly on the defensive end, but his three-point shooting could play a big role as well for the Hornets. As we know, that's something they have to fix, something they've been keying on through offseason additions, and the return of Grant Williams could also help boost the shooting percentage from behind the arc. In his 16 games before injury last year, Williams was averaging over 10 points a game. He was shooting 43.9% from the field and 36.5% from behind the line. And while we know it still feels like a lofty expectation to expect much from Grant Williams, maybe really before Christmas, let's say, it's still, again, a very positive sign to see him out working and getting ready for the regular season here in July. The 26-year-old who played his high school ball right here in Charlotte will be entering his 7th season in the league, which means he'll provide another veteran voice and presence in the locker room, on the sidelines, throughout the organization, whenever he is fully cleared to return to basketball activities. Whenever that does take place, with having him only have played 16 games last year, Williams' presence will almost feel like another new addition by the front office for this offseason. We know that's not the case, as he was already on the roster coming into this year, but it's almost like when you take a first-round pick and that person gets injured, you feel like you get two on the next season. That's what it feels like here with Grant Williams, as he only played 16 games last year before tearing his ACL. So coming off of that and getting him back this year will feel like a brand new first year, a start over for Grant Williams, and something that could be beneficial for this Hornets roster as we go into the regular season. Now, of course, hope and optimism are always nice, but reality takes place with the guys who are available to play and who are on the court right now. One of those guys is 6'4" undrafted second-year shooting guard Damian Ba. Ba is the subject of our roster breakdown today, as we mentioned, as he prepares for his second season here with the Hornets. He enters the summer as one of a few members on the Summer League roster who has logged NBA minutes for the Hornets last season. Ba played in 15 games for Charlotte, starting 2 of them last year, and averaged 24.7 minutes per game while doing so. Now, during those 15 games, he scored 7.3 points per game and added nearly 4 assists per game to that total. Damian is everything that the new regime is trying to build here in Charlotte, as he's got a lightning-quick first step. He's got elite playmaking ability. He's great in the pick and roll and has point guard handles while playing the 2-guard position. It will, however, be crucial to see if he can take a step forward and become a more knockdown shooter than he was last year. Damian shot just 32% from the field and 21% from behind the arc. We know that is part of what added to the Hornets' not so good shooting percentage last season, something they're trying to fix going into this year. But by his work ethic, everything about him seems to reflect he is absolutely a guy that can increase those numbers with a coming off of a full off season under his belt, continuing to work out the shooting percentages for the second year man should absolutely increase. I see no reason why they won't do that. If he can increase those numbers, he can certainly find himself a place on this roster, considering his biggest strength is something I haven't mentioned yet, and that is his defensive ability. He is very good on offense, but what Bob brings to the table for the Hornets is a longer, more rangy guard who can guard the 2 position, the 3 position, and the 1 position. He can guard up, guard down. It doesn't matter. He's great on the perimeter. He's really good on and off ball, and his quickness, again, that we talked about with the first step, reflects on the defensive side of the ball as well. He can use that to stay in front of just about anyone he is tasked with. So it'll be important to see how his offense has developed. Has he gotten better on defense, and is that still something he finds to be his strong suit out in Vegas this summer? Now, he played on a 2-way contract last year, so it's probably safe to say he'll be doing something along those lines again this year when the regular season kicks off. Now, again, with a good summer league showing, he could definitely play himself into a more desired role for him with the Hornets, a more important and more permanent role on the NBA roster. Again, that's something that Bach could easily do with a solid summer league performance, as we know what he is capable of in the NBA already, and he's only getting better as development moves along throughout off seasons and regular seasons, G League seasons, and he gets more experience in real live NBA game action. And like we said in the last video with KJ Simpson, if Peterson and company decide to go another route, then a good summer for Ba could potentially make him another asset that Charlotte wants to move on from. Again, he is part of the surplus, the hoarding, the log jam, whatever you want to call it, whatever adjective you'd like to use to describe the guard position here in Charlotte. Ba is a part of that cluster. So no matter what the thought the Hornets have, they'll be leaning heavily on his NBA experience throughout the summer league to mentor the young guys, to get them prepared for what the speed of a summer league or an NBA game may feel like, to kind of calm some of the nerves, some of the anxiety. We know with the 4 rookies going out there, there's going to be a lot of the nerves, a lot of the anxiety as they're anticipating their first NBA action. So it'll be important for Ba and the other summer league veterans on the roster to help calm those nerves and like I say, mentor the young guys out in Vegas. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch what goes on there this summer and how Ba and the rest of this summer league team can come together. Can they get a victory? I know we mentioned they were 7-1 in summer league last year. Don't have as many games on the schedule. Again, we went over the 4 that are locked in. There is one still, number 5, to be determined. We'll talk about that one when it is finally announced. But they don't have 8 games to put on display like they did last year, so cutting the number down will again be even more important, make the minutes even more crucial for these guys who are playing out in Vegas this summer. Well, folks, that's going to do it here for another episode of Hornets Daily. Thank you again so much for watching along, and as always, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, tell me what you guys think, tell me what you guys want to talk about. We'll dive into that again later on in the video series. As always, I'm Vance Ballard, or better known as VB, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow on Hornets Daily.